this is mock test 3, MTWC Limited. The topics covered: pre-engagement activities, risk assessments, and internal controls. So, into the scenario, you guys have 12 minutes reading time. You may have struggled to get through the 12 minutes, but you would have covered most of the scenario. Okay, so when your 12 minutes are up, stop and see what is going to be expected of you. Background information. You are an audit partner, so to note your experience, you're a partner, the most senior at Auditors Inc., a firm of registered auditors. In January 2021, Auditors Inc. was appointed as auditors of the standalone financial statements of Moms That Work Caterers Limited, herein referred to as MTWC, as well as auditors of the consolidated financial statements for the Moms That Work Caterers Limited Group, MTWC Group. So, in January 2021, appointed, we've got pre-engagements. We know that it is a new engagement because it was appointed, so I've got a risk at the financial statement level with regards to opening balances. And I also see that we're appointed as the group auditors. So we've got a risk at the financial statement level because they have a group. I won't write all of the risks there, but I'm thinking consolidation is complex, intercompany transactions not eliminated, accounting policies may not be consistent with the members of the group, related party transactions not disclosed or at arm's length. Appointment was made by the board of directors after a nail-biting tender process. So I know that they are being replaced. This tells me there's a vacancy. The audit had been put up for tender as a result of the previous auditors being asked to resign following a disagreement concerning the accounting treatment of certain transactions. So they asked the previous auditors to resign because they didn't agree with the accounting treatment they were proposing. So this could be a risk at the financial statement level with regards to management integrity. I can also now make a note of risk with the financial statement level, potential non-compliance with IFRS. Because your auditors are going to be pushing for you to comply. And so if they're disagreeing with accounting treatments, it's likely that they're pushing not to comply. You were appointed as the engagement partner for the 28th February 2021, so just to make a note here, this is the year-end audit because of your extensive experience with clients in a similar industry. Okay, so I can just make a note here, the partner has experience with the industry. MTWC is listed on the Alt-X of the Johannesburg Securities Exchange. So I've got a risk at the financial statement level because they are listed. So non-compliance with listing requirements could result in penalties or delisting, but also there could be incentive to manipulate to appear to meet those requirements when they are actually not. The company has experienced significant growth since its incorporation in 2018. So risk at the financial statement level because of the growth, if their controls have not grown at the same level. The MTWC group consists of the following companies. So now I get to see the group. Zim Farm Store, PVT Limited, 100% shareholding, purchased on the 6th of May 2019. So that was in the prior year. And then COVID Cookers, Pty Limited, 100% shareholding, purchased on 4 June 2020. So this is in the current year. So you're going to have MTWC with 100% shareholding of Zim and COVID Cookers. So in the new year, there was this new investment. So you're going to have the additional risks here for this purchase and additional risks here for this consolidation. So at the assertion level, with regards to your goodwill calculation, and the risks at the financial statement level because of the group we've noted above. Both companies have a 28th February year end, so that's a nice thing. Auditors Inc. has been appointed as the auditors of COVID Cookers, so now also pre-engagement here for the subsidiary. And now you've got a question, do you have sufficient staff for a group and a subsidiary? MTWC approved Zim Farm Store Pvt Limited's request to continue using their local Zimbabwean auditors KPWC Inc. So now there's a risk at the financial statement level because of component auditors. And that's for the group, guys. The group auditors are now going to have to use component auditors for the consolidation. So there's a concern here with regards to their ability. MTWC was incorporated in 2018 by Peter Hangry, Sipho Ulambili, and Ahmed Patel. So now you can see who the owners are. The group of fathers decided to start a catering business for working moms that are not able to prepare delicious, healthy meals for their families because their work commitments left little time for selecting recipes, purchasing ingredients, and then preparing the meal. So now we can understand the industry that they are in. And we can also now just make a note here. There could be a risk at the financial statement level because it is food. So if the food is expired and they sell it, could affect their business. Also at the assertion level now with regards to the valuation of their inventory if it does expire. Initially, food preparation and distribution took place from Peter Hangry, the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, and co-founder's private kitchen. But as demand for these delicious home-cooked meals increased, the founders purchased a property that they converted into 2 rooms, a kitchen for food preparation and a warehouse for storage of ingredients and finished products ready for distribution. So what I can see here, Peter Hangry, who's a co-founder and the CEO, so we're starting to see that there is a director who is also an owner. So I'm just going to make a note here, but with a question mark, are they owner managed? Question mark. Because if they're owner managed, there's too much control through one group. But that's going to depend if Sipho and Ahmed are also involved in management. Then guys, you can see that they're not decentralized at this point. They talk about how they've got one property with the operations conducted from there. As their catering business expanded, the fathers quickly realized that in order to meet the demand and at the same time keep costs low, they would need to produce their own fresh ingredients. With that in mind, Ahmed Patel, Director of Strategic Operations and co-founder, so I'm just going to make a note here, owner managed, commenced negotiations with Zim Farm Store Pvt Limited to acquire 100% shareholding in the Zimbabwean-based farm. So this is how they decided to purchase this subsidiary. With control over the farm, MTWC could ensure that all ingredients required for their specific catering needs were organically farmed in the quantities required. So I can see from this there are related party transactions. They purchase from the subsidiary, and for the subsidiary they sell to the holding company. Their 2020 financial year was a massive success, and projections for 2021 showed enormous growth. March 2020 was off to a great start, and then COVID-19 hit. South Africa went into lockdown level 5, and MTWC was required to cease operations during this time. So I'm just going to make a note here. If they had to cease operations, is there a concern with their ability to continue? MTWC had no source of income for the months of March and April. So once again, could this affect their ability to continue? No source of income. In May, when the lockdown restrictions were relaxed and restaurants with a permit were allowed to commence operations, MTWC was dealt a further blow by the South African government as they did not qualify for the permit. MTWC was required to wait until June before it was able to commence catering, and it was at this time that MTWC realized the gravity of the company's financial woes. So, financial statement level going concern, they did not have income for March, April, and June. And they're now discussing there could be financial woes. What are those? Let's see. MTWC had two major challenges the directors needed to overcome if they were to make it through the 2021 financial year. They needed to find customers fast as a result of losing the majority of its customer base to the restaurants that were able to operate in the month of May. So losing majority, risk at the financial statement level, going concern, losing the majority of their customers. And they needed to find an alternate supplier of ingredients as importing from their Zimbabwean subsidiary was not allowed while the borders were closed. Okay, so once again, loss of a supplier and the effect that that has on the going concern. The directors acted swiftly, purchasing 100% shareholding in COVID Cookers Pty Limited on the 4th of June 2020. COVID Cookers had acquired its lockdown permit from a government official and as such was able to commence operations on 1 May 2020. So they bought their lockdown permit from a government official. Risk at a financial statement level, is this fraud? Is this a bribe to get their permits? And if so, a reportable irregularity. During the month of May, COVID Cookers had tripled its pre-lockdown customer base and generated a profit that the company never dreamed possible. The directors of COVID Cookers were, however, unsure about the longevity of the business, with the lockdown levels being relaxed and more competition entering the market, so they agreed to the sale of 100% shareholding to MTWC. So this is just explaining why, after having such an incredible month, they still sold. COVID Cookers continues to thrive throughout the 2021 financial period and even assisted MTWC by marketing their menu and passing on any customers they were not able to assist when demand reached its peak. The 2021 audit is to be completed by 31 March 2021 in order for the shareholders to assess the company's financial position. So, there's a tight deadline. So risk at the financial statement level, and that's also something to consider for pre-engagement. In order for the shareholders to assess the company's financial position, so is it concerned, or are they concerned about the ability for it to continue? It is the 2nd of March 2021, and the following working papers have been reviewed by yourself. MTWC Client Acceptance Questionnaire, MTWC Revenue System, COVID Cookers Operations and Revenue. So 2 for the company and 1 for the subsidiary. Important that you see that. A1, this is prepared by Seafood on the 6th of February. It's your pre-engagement. Client Acceptance Questionnaire. Question 1. Client integrity. 1.1. Is the client's reputation sound? Yes. The client was in the news regarding an investigation into a payment made to a government official for COVID Cookers lockdown permit. No findings have been released regarding the investigation, so it is assumed that the payment was lawful. So, just going to make a note here that this is a concern with the client's integrity. And it is a concern that it was marked as yes. Can't assume that it's unlawful because there has been no findings just yet. 1.2, is the business legitimate? Yes. 1.3, is management's integrity sound? Yes. 1.4, have management imposed any scope limitations on audit? No. 2, competence and capabilities of engagement team with sufficient time and resources. 2.1, does the engagement team have knowledge and experience with audit engagements of a similar nature? Yes, the partner has sufficient knowledge and experience in the relevant industry. So good for the partner, but what about the team? Question. 2.2, does the engagement team have sufficient expertise and are experts available if required? Yes, the audit budget allows for any experts required. Okay. 3, engagement team's ethical compliance. 3.1, is the engagement team independent of the client? Yes. The partner is completely independent of the client. So that's good for the partner. What about the team? The whole team must be independent. Are the auditors required to provide non-audit services that may affect their independence? No. Amounts of non-audit services requested by the client will not exceed 30% of the audit fee, and therefore this will not affect the audit team's independence. So guys, that's incorrect. You've got to see the nature of these audit services to determine if it's going to affect the independence or not. So there's a concern with the non-audit services. Client's ability to pay the audit fee. 4.1. Is the client in a financial position to pay the audit fee? Yes. The client has suffered significantly as a result of the lockdown, but has indicated that they will still be able to pay the fee. So this I'm just going to question mark, can they pay the fee? Because I've seen lots of going concern indicators. 5. Previous auditors. 5.1. Is there a legal vacancy? Yes. The previous auditors resigned as a result of disagreements around the accounting treatment of certain transactions. So yes, there is a vacancy, but I'm just going to make a note here, management integrity, because that is something that affects the integrity. 5.2. Have the auditors communicated with the previous auditors about any reasons not to accept the engagement? No. Peter Hangry asked the engagement partner not to contact the previous auditors as a favor. He noted after asking the previous auditors to resign, their relationship went sour, and so he does not want anything to do with them. So I've got a concern here because by asking not to, that's a scope limitation. And it was also a concern from the CPC because auditors should contact the prior auditors to find out if there's a reason why they shouldn't accept. 6. Engagement letter. 6.1. Has an engagement letter been issued by the auditors? No. As a result of the tight deadline, the partner requested the audit team to jump straight into the audit work and leave the administrative work to a later date. So now I've got to say here, no engagement letter for 2, the audit and the non-audit services. And that's non-compliance. You shouldn't be doing work before you actually have that. B1, the revenue system of MTWC. The following description of the revenue system was provided by Sipho Ulambili, Chief Financial Officer. So now I can see that Sipho is also executive. So now I can see that they are owner managed. All sales are on credit. So I just make a note here, credit. Customers interested in signing up with MTWC for catering, place their order via telephone or email, mtwc@gmail.com. Both telephone orders and email orders are addressed by Jabu Order, the sales manager. So I don't have a risk that there could be duplicates or that it could be the orders could be addressed by multiple people. It's just the one person. But what I am just going to make a note here is there any segregation of duties if it's just the sales manager? On receipt of the order, Jabu will create a customer folder for new customers, and after browsing through pictures of the person on social media, decides on an appropriate credit limit and credit terms. So I've got a big concern here. No credit-worthy check. So if there's no credit-worthy check, we've got a certain level of risk with regards to the valuation of our debtors, because they could be giving credit to debtors you can't pay. For existing customers, Jabu selects the customer's folder from the locked cabinet. Jabu then prepares a multi-copy, sequentially numbered, so I've got a pre-number control here, which is awesome, internal sales order, and files one copy in the customer's folder. So I can now start saying there's an external order and an internal sales order is created. I can also put here that there is a credit limit and there's credit terms, but I'm not happy with how they go about doing it. the second copy of the internal sales order is sent to Sue Deliver, the dispatch manager. So one copy goes into the folder, the other copy goes to the dispatch manager. So now I'm starting to see there is segregation of duties between at least the order. What I do have a concern with is that there's no authorization. So here where I've got segregation of duties, I'm going to also add here no authorization. Because there's a lack of segregation of duties and the sales manager does everything, we have not got somebody senior authorizing. So you should have a junior person creating the order and then somebody senior authorizing. Sue is responsible for selecting the appropriate meal from the warehouse, so she's ultimately picking. She then accesses the inventory module on a computer and records the stock removal. This is automatically linked to the invoicing system, which initiates the printing of duplicate invoice and delivery note. So I'm just going to make a note here. There's a lack of segregation of duties because Sue picks the goods and then puts it into the inventory module to remove it, which automatically creates an invoice and delivery note. So lack of segregation of duties. And I'm also going to make a note that are the access controls over getting into this module to actually remove your stock. It automatically creates an invoicing or automatically linked to the invoicing system. So from here, you're going to have a delivery note and invoice and the sale. Because if they've got an invoice, it means they will have accounted for that revenue. So I've got a risk here now at the assertion level with the occurrence of revenue because they've been invoiced before revenue's actually taken place. She collects the printed invoices and delivery notes and attaches them to the meal. She then loads this in the loading bay fridge ready for delivery. Chase driver, delivery clerk, so now I can see that there is some segregation of duties between the two. Collects all meals in the loading bay fridge and delivers these to customers. The customers sign his copy of the delivery note and retain their copy of the delivery note and invoice. So there is customer authorization, having accepted the goods. Chase then delivers the duplicate invoice and signed delivery note to Jabo to file in the customer's folder. So what I'm just going to make a note here, guys, I didn't see anything about the pre-numbering of delivery notes and invoice. So I'm going to question that. But then I can see, so the customer signs, gives it back, and then that delivery note and invoice just goes straight into a folder. So nobody reconciles what's on that delivery note. Did the customer make any changes? Did they not accept anything? So there's no reconciliation there of your delivery note to your invoice to your internal sales order. Did they deliver what they wanted? Did they accept what was delivered? Should any credit notes be issued here? There's no reconciliation happening in this cycle. Access controls, both logical and physical, are in place throughout this system. Okay, so I can see that they do then obviously have the access controls that are required. C1, now we're on COVID cookers and operations and sales. The following is a brief summary of the operations of COVID cookers. The company operates 12 outlets, so this company has a risk at the financial statement level because they are decentralized. All of which are located in major shopping centers in built-up areas. The company provides single portion and family portion home-cooked meals. So I can see now what they do. And we can also have two risks here at the financial statement level because there will be regulations for food, and now at the assertion level because of the inventory valuation if it expires. Each outlet employs a manager, a number of counter staff, and a number of kitchen and cleaning staff. So I can see that there is some segregation of duties. The The outlet layout is standardized as follows. Customers are separated from staff by a counter. Counter staff are separated from kitchen and cleaning staff by the kitchen. So this is just to show the segregation. Customers queue at the counter and place their orders. Each sale is recorded on one of the tills. The till then prints 2 copies of the till slip with the order details. So here's a till slip. A copy of the till slip is handed to the customer after receipt of payment, and the second copy is passed to the kitchen staff through a serving hatch in the wall of the kitchen. So till slip, and then there's got to be payment. The company generally sells its products for cash, but does accept credit cards if the customer does not have cash on hand. So if they've got cash here, I'm going to put a risk here at the assertion level with regards to the existence of their cash, because if there's cash at hand, there's a risk that it gets stolen. Once the food has been prepared, the kitchen staff staple their copy of the till slip to the bag of food and pass it through the serving hatch to the counter staff. The counter staff then call out the number on the till slip, and customers are required to provide their copy of the till slip to prove the order belongs to them. So they do a recon here now. At the end of the day, tills produce a daily sales summary by product. So here's a sales summary. And all accounting functions are centralized at head office. So let's get to the required.